Day baseball in the Twin Cities. It is a lovely Thursday as the White Sox and Twins say farewell. This is game number 4 in 3 days between the AL Central rivals. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. The Sox have won 4 of 6 and the offense is heating up.
The offense, the pitching, everything's been good as the Sox playing better baseball. They're showing it against the Twins. Twins, who took 3 or 4 from the Indians, having some problems with our Sox. Juan Moncada gets a leadoff home run in the twin bill, and then Jose takes one out of the ballpark. Things going very well for the Sox. They're getting good defense, terrific pitching, and a lot of offense from Tim Anderson, who's taken the day off today. This is a ball club that, as you can see, the pitching has been magnificent. Opponents' batting average just .225. The team scoring 4.5 runs a game. James Shields would like a little bit of that support today, and hopefully it continues.
Sox and Twins coming up. We'll tell you about the pitching matchup when we come back. A young guy and a veteran dueling on the mound. And last time the Sox visited Minnesota, Jose Barrios was lethal. They get another shot today.
He's going against James Shields, and James has thrown it very well lately, only he has nothing to show for it. You take a look at the last 4 starts, he's 0-2, but his ERA, 2.86. As far as Barrios is concerned, he's been awfully good. 3-1, 2.83. He doesn't change speeds very much, but he doesn't have to. When the stuff is good, it's exceptional. Again, innings pitched over the last few games, you see it's very similar. Strikeouts to walks, very similar. Opponent's batting average, very good for James, great for Jose. So these two guys heading into today looking for a big effort.
It's Prince's birthday. You got your friends. Get crazy with us. Sox trying to win the series in Minnesota after this.
and has certainly cooperated. There's the umpires. Now they're going to line up today with Chris Conroy getting the plate. Ryan Honora at first, Fielden Culbreth at second, and C.B. Buckner is at third. So we've seen them all in this series, this 4-game series, concluding today. Sox in a streak where they're playing 22 games in 21 straight days. So no rest for the weary. But the boys playing their best baseball sustained of this season. And when you're playing good baseball, you want to get out there as soon as possible. And winners of 4 of their last 6 against pretty good teams.
And here is the starting lineup on a beautiful day for baseball that Ricky Renteria trots out there. Wearing Sox jerseys, Moncada and Sanchez at the top. Jose Abreu during a 6-game hit streak. Sanchez on a 10-game streak. Polka and Davidson in there together. Narvaez, Rondon a rare start. Then Tilson and Thompson giving Engel the day off.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind Jose Barrios. It's Eddie Rosario, Ryan Lamar, and Robbie Grossman in the outfield left to right with Eduardo Escobar. A-Ray Adrianza at shortstop, Brian Dozier at second, and Logan Morrison. His first start of the series is at first base, coming off a bad back. Bobby Wilson has the plate, and the young, talented Jose Barrios on the hill. Last time our Sox saw him in this ballpark, he was absolutely unhittable. He's 6-5 this year, his ERA at 3.86, but opponent's batting average at 2.07. There's certain things you can control. Wins and losses, not one of them, but the whip at .95 is outstanding. Only 14 walks, 74 strikeouts. He's got what they call a curveball. It's actually a hard slider. He'll throw at 2 different speeds. He doesn't have a straight change per se, but he will take something off and put something on. That sweeping breaking ball into right-handers, it's fairly close to death.
Sox got to him in the start at guaranteed rate field in the first inning. Jose Abreu hit a 2-run homer. But in the start here at Target Field, he was just dynamic. 11 strikeouts and virtually as close to unhittable as we've seen this year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say that's as good a game as we've seen pitched against our ball club. It was early, it was cold, and the remaining 3 of that series were all snowed out. So we've made up 1 of those, 2 more to go. As Yoan Moncada getting ready to lead it off. And we're ready for some day baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my loquacious play-by-play partner, Jason Benetti, who is very spunky today.
Indeed. Got some sleep, ready, raring to go. So are the Sox, and Jose Barrios is low with ball 1. We are wheels up today at 12:10 from Target Field. And we thank you for taking time out of your workday to watch some baseball along with us. Yoan Moncada on a pop-up third base side, foul territory. Eduardo Escobar secures out number 1 of today's ball game.
Although the fastball is not overpowering, it is very lively. It's that late movement with all of his pitches that makes Barrios very tough. What you'd love to do is get him in the stretch early in this one, maybe disrupt his timing a bit. The only way to really get to him is to make sure he doesn't get rolling and disrupt his timing.
He doesn't walk many. Less than 5% of the batters he sees walk. Typically, he's all over the strike zone as he misses with ball 1 for the 2nd straight hitter. Last time out for Barrios against Cleveland, that was one of those 3 straight wins for the Twins. 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. He walked just 1 and struck out 7. He is on a career best 4 straight starts of at least 6 innings. Evidently a little fearful that the jewelry police are going to come for him, or he was uncomfortable with the chain that he stuffed in his pocket.
It's a big advantage for a pitcher. Distract the hitter. We saw that in Boston with J.D. Martinez. Ron Gardner not real happy. It was Castellanos rather. Ron Gardner not real happy with that.
We'll show you the footage later on of Ron Gardenhire and his accidental appearance at a Boston rock show.
Lamar's very deep in center field. That allows a lot of balls to fall in front of him. He feels he can come in a lot more easily than he can go back.
2-2 on Yolmer Sanchez, who's got a hit in 10 straight games. As there you see the vast expanse that Lamar is in charge of. Shattered bat. Brian Dozier is over to throw out Sanchez. 2 gone.
In that opener, Barrios broke a whole lot of bats. That fastball moving in on the hands of the left-hand hitter especially. And you see where Wilson wanted it. That's exactly where Barrios got it. He managed to avoid the bat, which is always a good thing, as Dozier makes a play easily.
2 down for Abreu, who homered against Barrios in the first inning back at Guaranteed Rate Field in early May. Jose very steady once again. 300 average, slugging just below 530.
Barrios last year, one of the league leaders in wins by right-hand pitchers. He won 14 games. Irvin Santana, who was missing after surgery on his middle finger of his throwing hand, he won 16.
And this will do it very quickly for the Sox to Dozier. 1-2-3 inning for Barrios. James Shields after this. Adrianza and Wilson, both catchers in the lineup.
Let's take a look at the defense. And out in the lineup behind James Shields, it's Tilson, Thompson, and Polka in the outfield, with Yolmer, Jose, Yoan, and Jose in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate. James Shields on the hill. He's been thrown to very well lately without a whole lot to show for it. 1-6, but his ERA coming down. It's a little below 4.5. An opponent's batting average of 229. That's a really good number.
He'll face Brian Dozier first. Dozier goes after the first pitch and lobs it into center. Trace Thompson in charge for out number 1. Last 7 starts for James Shields dating back to May the 1st in St. Louis. All of them have gone at least 6 innings. His ERA is 3.45 in those 7 starts, and even more impressively, batting average against 193.
Since he started dropping down sidearm and throwing a straight change more, he's thrown better and better. And the thing I like about both of these starters is they seem to take the game deep. Barrios has averaged over 6 innings per start, and in this day and age, that is a huge number. And James just keeps going longer and longer in each and every game.
Stuffs it on the outside corner to Rosario, who came into this series one of the truly scalding hot hitters in baseball, but the Sox have kept him down at 2 for 13.
That's a straight change that really has made the career of James Shields. He used to be so good that he could tell you it's coming. You still couldn't wait back. Now he's getting a whole lot more confidence in it and using it more.
He mothballed it for a while last year. About 10% of the time he threw it.
And it's surprising because it's been a good pitch, but he lost his release point. He lost his timing of the pitch, and now he seems to have gotten it back. There are the career numbers: 10 over 500 and ERA just below 4. But he started 384 times.
Nowadays, if you take the ball as much as he has and your ERA is under 4 for your career, that's a really nice thing you've done for all the teams you've been around.
And I think because he's throwing the ball better and better, you would have to think that there's a lot of scouts watching each and every one of his starts. He's one of those guys that teams will target for a possible deal.
In the air, right center field. Hit well. Polka at the wall. And Rosario has extra bases. It's a 1-out double.
That one just barely stayed in the ballpark and caromed off the high wall in right center. James to another changeup. That was about the 3rd in a row, and Rosario waited back and got this one.
That changeup kind of loitered in the strike zone. Now Eduardo Escobar, the major league leader with 24 doubles. The Twins on the whole, and yes, he's a part of it. Twins on the whole have the 3rd most doubles in baseball with 130 of them, including Rosario's here in the 1st. Full side shift for Escobar, batting from the left-hand side.
James probably going to be careful with Eduardo. Morrison just back in the lineup, is in the on-deck circle, and then Grossman will hit after him. But Morrison, if he does make contact, is an inviting double play target. And Escobar has been red hot.
6 hits in the series in 10 at bats. 5 of those hits have been extra base hits. Sox got the idea late in yesterday's game, walking him twice.
Not a bad idea, as well as he's been swinging it. You can hardly get more consistent. Right-handed 283, left-handed 281, but most of his power comes from the side that James is looking at, the left side.
Slug to right field. Polka at the wall. Escobar has left, and the Twins take the lead.
.12 and 38 on the power numbers. We told you how hot Escobar has been, and he continues with his 6th extra base hit, 7th hit overall, and this is a breaking ball that stays in the middle of the plate, and Eduardo is not missing these days.
So the double, middle away, the home run, middle.
And that was a breaking ball that didn't have a whole lot on it, and Escobar took advantage.
Morrison sends it sky high down the right field line, and that ball hooks.
When healthy, Morrison has been a very good player for these Twins. He's a slugger. Not going to hit for average. He's going to drive in runs, and he's going to hit home runs.
He cracks this ball into right center. Another gap shot. Morrison is into second base.
He got a little lucky that he comes away uninjured, because that was a late slide, and when you slide that late, you can usually jam your knee or your ankle, and he's walking rather gingerly, but a hard hit, 2-base hit. So double, homer, double for 2, 3, and 4 in the batting average. That's a low fastball. Left-hand hitters generally love low fastballs. Twins are waiting for him to get healthy again because he's a big cog in their lineup, especially with Sano doing what he's doing, which is not much.
The Twins team has spent the bulk of 2018 checking medical charts on one guy or another.
It's been a decimated ball club. They're waiting for an entire pitching staff to come back. 60% of their starting rotation probably back by the middle of August. Paul Molitor in his 4th year as a skipper here. Last year had a very good year after 2 tough ones.
Paul Molitor spent part of pregame at his kid's middle school graduation and made it back for game time. So congratulations to Paul and family. 10th all time in total hits.
Could steal a base, was an excellent bunter, very, very high baseball acumen, and was a gopher.
He just shagged balls, or
nope,
he was a golden gopher.
He was one of those too.
Way inside, 2 balls and a strike. His alma mater in the Super Regionals out in Corvallis this weekend. Minnesota with a great college baseball season.
And a pretty solid team.
Three and 1 on Grossman. Mitch Garver next.
This Minnesota team, for whatever reason, has always been tough on James. 8-9 career-wise with 4.30 ERA.
Called a strike. Grossman didn't think so.
Grossman a better hitter from the right side with a little more power from the left, which is not unusual. There's a break. Well caught by Omar as he eases it back into the zone, and he bought the strike.
Three and 2 to second. Moncada throws Grossman out. Morrison to third. Well, the good news is it feels like it hasn't happened very much recently that the Sox have been down in the first inning. There was that streak in early May where the Sox couldn't get out of the first inning without giving up runs.
Well, James has had a history, especially this year, of giving up runs in the first inning and then slamming the door after that. He's going to have to do that today because Barrios looks like he's got his good stuff, and when he does, you're not going to score a lot of runs against him. So already down 2-0, you can ill afford any more. This becomes a big at bat early in this one.
It's the 27-year-old Mitch Garver. Shields gets a half swing and a miss. 0-1.
That was a cutter, and Garver hasn't seen a whole lot of it, so he went out thinking it was a fastball. The ball just disappeared away, and it most unusual swing. See the good movement on that cutter, and that's another of the favorite of James Shields.
91 a little low. 1 ball 1 strike. Garver, one of the 2 players in the lineup James Shields has never faced, although catchers and pitchers nowadays, especially with all the videos, sit down before the game and talk about tendencies and how to pitch everybody. Usually Don Cooper sits in on those meetings as well.
See Garver giving a little ground on that sidearm fastball. What that will tell you or show you is if you drop down again, just make sure it's on the outer third, preferably the outside corner, because if he's giving some ground, he won't get any coverage. And the best thing might be that cutter once again, but it's got to be away from Garver.
That's where the setup is on 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 at 92. A little bit up for a strikeout for Shields. Twins are done in the first with 2 in their pocket.
coconut or the crumble donut. They seem to have eliminated them from their repertoire, and I'm fairly bitter.
Here's Daniel Polka, who takes a strike. Maybe it's just the one locally that is near you that doesn't have them.
No, I check everywhere. And in Boston, some of the 10, 12,000 Dunkin' Donuts will be able to check everywhere.
Well, they have the outlet store there. You can get the donuts that came off the assembly line without the zippers or with a bleach spot or something like that for half the price.
I like that.
1-1 to Polka. And a breaking ball called a strike. Good luck hitting that thing.
Well, not one that is a good 3-4 inches off the plate. So as they often do, the Twins shift late in the count.
Polka, who Ricky Renteria has used at points recently as the one big piece of thunder off the bench, gets the start today.
And you saw the shift with Escobar moving into a straightaway second base position, leaving Adrianza at shortstop. That makes more sense to me. Leave your shortstop at shortstop. Take your third baseman with ostensibly less range and put him in that hole. Now, with Escobar, he's got range because he is a shortstop by trade, but most teams don't shift that way.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, 1 away, and we'd like to wish a very happy birthday to, among other people, Dan Hayes, our old pal.
Now he's there, Dan Hayes, and he does some of his best work when he looks away from the field.
Well, this is what he did to us too. He turned his back on us.
Well, that's what he did. He left for a sizable contract here in the Twin Cities.
He, like many others, has joined the Athletic. One down, Matt Davidson takes a strike. In all seriousness, the Athletic has some great writers and does some really wonderful sports writing, so we approve.
Yep.
Broken bat flare for out number 2. In case you were wondering what Dan Hayes actually looks like when he's not turning his back to us, there he is.
That's known as a grizzled visage.
He is an ink-stained wretch.
Still very young, in his way early 40s. He's got a couple of good years left.
He certainly does. He's a very nice man.
He is that, and very competent.
Yes.
He was also getting better on the air, which I thought was, for him, just a wonderful thing. Not seeing that he's getting much of a chance now, but when he does, he's pretty good at it.
Well, he does a local radio spot now.
It's even better.
He's turning into you.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, how sad.
For
okay.
who?
For him.
0-1. That's off the plate outside. A ball and a strike on Omar.
Barrios working very quickly, as you would expect. He's retired 5 in a row. You don't get many good pitches to hit. You might as well pick on an early one. That's one of the few straight changes he's going to throw.
Look out, pinwheels aplenty.
Fortunately, fans had a chance to get out of the way of that one.
Sir, I believe you dropped this.
They'll probably make a trade, I think. Wanting to know if he wants it back. And apparently, not so much. He gets good distance, though, on this.
Do we have StatCast on that?
That was one of the longer tosses we've seen. And that's where it goes, so watch out. Reminds me of my days as a caber tosser.
Oh, you're what? You had those days?
You remember those,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you toss a telephone pole and see how far you can throw it. Really an interesting sport.
You actually did that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Please. I just know about it from constant video research.
You're down there with BJ in the video room. 2-2. That's right there. Strike 3 called. 6 up, 6 down for Barrios. Sox are down 2. a home run from Eduardo Escobar. Thanks for joining us this beautiful afternoon. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Mark Brady, Todd Benjaminson, Joe Groob, among others in our truck, and our entire wonderful crew here in Minneapolis. First pitch hunting, Ryan Lamar to the left side, and Jose Rondon awaiting the arrival of out number 1. And let's take you to Boston, where we'll head after the game, where they made it through the night, but barely. Ron Gardenhire with Nicholas Castellanos at the plate sees the concert going on with the flashlight app on the phones. The Boston fans were evidently distracting his hitter enough that he came out and said, "Everybody stop that. Put your phones down. No phones."
I can understand where he'd be a little upset.
But what can you do? I mean,
nothing. He just wants to register his displeasure.
Alex Cora, to his credit, said, "Hey, we got smart fans. There was good subversion."
Very good subversion.
That ball's hit well in the air to right field by Adrianza. Palka looks up, and this ball comes raining back in after clearing the wall. That guy has pounded the ball in this series.
I was going to say, for a guy that was hitting in the 230s, the low 230s coming into this series, he has hit the ball very hard from both sides of the plate. This is his second home run of the year, and he's found something in Sox pitching. This is up and out over the plate. He's driven in his 9th on his second home run. He's made it a 3-0 game. And A-Ray Adrianza, just an extra base hit machine in this series, along with Eduardo Escobar.
1 in, 1 out, and the 9 batter, the catcher Bobby Wilson, takes a strike. .35-year-old journeyman Wilson getting some run behind the plate with the injury to Jason Castro, which turned out to be much more significant than the Twins thought originally, with a meniscus tear. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. .45th at bat of the year for Bobby Wilson. He's 35. Shields age 36. Yanked foul. After the game, the Sox will head to Boston to see the Red Sox for 3 before coming home for a pretty lengthy stretch of games at Guaranteed Rate Field, with only 3 on the road in between until the end of June.
I'm not sure if it's ever a good time to see Boston, but this would not be a good time. They won 4 in a row, 7 of their last 10. They're 43-19, playing almost 700 baseball, yet they only carry a 1-game lead over the Yankees. So in a division where it's a 2-team race and has been and will be for the rest of this year, those 2 teams will be going to the playoffs.
Plus, their fans just figured out how to distract batters, so it's a tough time to go there.
Yes, unless you confiscate all the cell phones. Maybe Ricky can work on that.
3 balls, 2 strikes. That misses, ball 4. It's a 1-out walk to the 9-hitter. Sox Serve Week is coming up June 11th through the 16th. The week-long initiative features different outreach events and fundraising events every day to support Chicago White Sox charities. For more information, visit whitesox.com/SoxServe. Always a fun week to get out into the community with Christine O'Reilly and her entire crew. And when it comes to Sox Serve Week, when you donate, part of that money goes to the ACE program, which the Sox have cultivated to help improve baseball opportunities for inner city youth in Chicago. And a couple ACE alums were drafted in this year's Major League Baseball draft. Marshawn Taylor, a 28th round pick by the Diamondbacks. He was the first one selected. And Kyle Sally, who we talked about yesterday, the Sox 40th round pick out of Homewood Flossmoor.
Maybe the star pupil of that is Corey Ray.
Yes.
He was drafted way up there. And what's nice is the opportunity to go to school and then eventually play professional baseball. That's really the goal. The ACE program has certainly done just a great job for kids who would otherwise not have a chance to experience either.
Ball and 2 strikes on Brian Dozier, who flied out in the first.
What you'd like to see is something away from Dozier, because he's trying to pull everything. Could very well be that with the right side open just about every time he comes to bat, and with Moncada on the third base side of second and Jose holding close, you see there's nobody home on the right side. But Dozier, who's going to be a free agent, thinking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, he will roll over on something away.
Tried to sneak it in on the inside corner and missed. 2-2.
He loves the cutter inside to right-handers, thinking they will give up on it if he can shave off the corner, but this one a little too far inside. Despite the help from Omar, he does not get the benefit of the call from Chris Conroy.
Two in the air, right field, and Daniel Palka.
Sox fans, you can visit the WGN Sports Game Zone for up-to-date stats and information, sponsored by UI Health. Providing expert care for you and your family, UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
Eddie Rosario, native of Puerto Rico, with a double and a run scored in the first. One of 4 extra base hits for the Twins. As that ball was close to the zone, Omar looked like he was a little caught up in it.
It's a pretty good pitch, and sometimes with a sweeping slider like that, the umpire will give up on it before it snaps over the outside corner, so he doesn't get the benefit of that one.
Off the glove, kicking away, but not far enough. Wilson at first is not exactly Usain Bolt.
No. But what you have to do when the ball is in the dirt, you have to anticipate and try to take off. But with a catcher, you're not going to risk getting taken out of the inning. You'd just as soon lead off with Rosario.
Bobby Wilson 0 for 3 in his career in stolen bases. Still looking for that first one.
He's not going anywhere soon. Bobby Wilson's been around a long time because of his ability to catch it, call it, block it, and throw it.
Angels, Diamondbacks, Rays, Rangers, Tigers, Rays again, Twins. Two-one, flip to center. Trace Thompson underneath. The Twins get one more on a solo homer from A-Ray Adrianza, and it's 3-0 in a matinee.
Texter's going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
Got some sandwich in the picture there. Good burger.
I prefer the meatball sub, however.
You do?
Yep.
Jose Rondon takes ball 1. This will be a test to see how Jose is holding up as the bench player who sees the least action. Just 13 at bats since May the 26th.
And with Barrios, first batter faced in an inning, he's the best in the major leagues at shutting him down.
Talking to Joe McEwing about situations like this a couple of weeks ago, because he was typically the utility player on a lot of teams. So you'd get Randy Johnson in a day game and, hey, Super Joe, you're in.
Hence the moniker Super Joe.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
With an OBP of 167, you can see the first batter has very little chance.
Yes. Can I tell you about a floppy hat?
Sure.
Join us at Guaranteed Rate Field. Sox take on the Tigers Saturday, June 16th at 1:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox Hawaiian floppy hat presented by Beggar's Pizza. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today.
If you got floppy ears, that floppy cap or hat is really good.
Charlie Tilson with a bunt. And out number 2.
Barrios is a good athlete, so it's a situation where if you don't lay down a perfect bunt, he's probably going to get you. And then there are no lollipop tosses to first base. He gets something on this, which you love to see, especially for Logan Morrison. You hope to catch it in the web, because it came with something on it.
Yeah, that's he wasn't messing around.
No, he knew the speed of Tilson, and he realized he had to get it there. No lollipop tosses.
2 out, Trace Thompson looks at strike 1. Yeah, I think it's good Barrios today.
Well, he's 5-1 against our boys with a 2.35 ERA. So he doesn't have many bad ones against our club. And with the stuff he has today, it doesn't look good right now. Maybe second or third or fourth time through the order, they might be able to get to him.
The way he's going right now, the 4th time through the order is going to be in the 10th inning when the Sox are on the bus.
Seemingly, because he's working quickly, he's got a lot of confidence, and I think there are some teams that any pitcher just has a great deal of confidence against, and the Sox are one of those for Barrios, who's going to keep getting better and better.
Second time and third time through the order was very kind to the Sox last night. First 8 batters came up and didn't reach. Then Trace Thompson had a single in the 3rd. Sox got a run in the 4th, and then the big inning was the 6th, late against Jake Odorizzi, and the bullpen. Ryan Presley, first guy out of that pen, gave up 2 earned.
Here's something that'll brighten your day: a well-hit average of .075 the 3rd time through the order against Barrios.
How dark do you think my day is?
Well, that will be really good. They're 5 for 67, a well-hit average against him 3rd time through, which is unbelievable. That's 4th in the major leagues, in a very important stat, especially when you're going into the 7th or 8th inning.
You give your manager the opportunity to not worry about you as much as he worries about everybody else on the staff late in games.
They've got the Angels coming to town. Pretty good hitting club, and there's Gene Glynn, the 3rd base coach. He's been around a long time.
Fourth strikeout for Barrios. They've gone in order through 3 for him. Great day. 7 o'clock Tuesday, WGN TV, the WGN Experience Auction. Hope you can join us for that. Part of the proceeds going to White Sox charities, and a great week to help build the Sox opportunities to do what they do in the community and have some fun yourself. Change up for strike one to Escobar. Escobar last time up did this.
Fourth drive of the game came on a 2-run shot, his 12th of the year. This is a breaking ball over the middle of the plate, and the roller went out of the ballpark at 103.6 miles per hour. Visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Liked him more when he was doubling instead of homering.
Well, he's had quite a series.
Told you Escobar leads the league in doubles. He would be the first Twins player to lead the American League in doubles since 1994. And of course, the season did not end that year as Escobar was punched out. It wasn't a complete season, but at the time of the end of the year, Chuck Knobloch was the American League leader in doubles with 45.
That one catches the inside corner, and Escobar quietly set down that time.
One down for Logan Morrison. Good hook for a strike from Shields to Morrison, who doubled in the first.
At this point, you don't have to tell James that he can ill afford any more runs, not the way Barrios has thrown it. 9 up, 9 down the first time through the order for the young right-hander from the Twins.
How much did you get charged up by the other guy that you were facing that day, having a great start to the game?
Well, I think you realize that some of the better pitchers around, you have to match them pitch for pitch, inning for inning, because if you gave them too much, you weren't going to come back. James has been shocked early in this one, giving up a couple of home runs, something he hasn't done a lot of this year. You know, in years past, he gave up a lot of home runs. This year, not near as many. That's just 9 home runs given up, and he's thrown close to 80 innings. So for him, that's a very low total, testament to his ability to adjust to the stuff he has at this point of his career.
Cuts it inside, 2-2. Yeah, last year 27 homers and 21 starts. The year before, 40 home runs and 33 starts.
And only 9 this year, and this his 13th start. So a radical departure from years past, and dropping down sidearm has a lot to do with it.
Off speed, down and away, strike 3, third strikeout for Shields. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. Mentioned the injuries for the Twins. Joe Mauer still on the concussion list, trying to come back.
They really don't know when he's going to be able to, because every time they think about him coming back,
there's a line out to end the inning and the conversation about it.
We'll pick it up later.
That'll keep you on the DL. To the fourth we go. Your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional deals. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. Tim's RBIs last night multiplied by runs in the first 3 games for the Sox. It's easy today. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize from the road, and it's brought to you by Audi. 1 ball, no strikes on Yoan Moncada, who had quite the strike zone last night, and Ricky Renteria asked about it after the game. Was very sly and said, I wouldn't have swung at some of those pitches.
I don't blame him. You can't blame Moncada for not expanding that strike zone. A lot of pitches were up, unhittable pitches 3-4 inches inside. So he took him and he got rung up.
2-2 on Moncada. And that's not to say his 79 strikeouts are a function of the strike zone for the year, but last night was a tough night for him. The ace of the Twins, Jose Barrios, who's never given up a hit to Moncada in 8 at-bats. That was in the not fooling anybody category for Wilson behind the plate, though a game effort.
Tried to bring it well back into the zone.
Popped up. Right side, Brian Tozier.
Sox fans, you can check out the White Sox blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to JeffVuk.com or follow him on social media, because Nationwide is on your side.
Also important to note that Steve Stone is on your side. He's starting a foundation to battle thoughtless tweets.
Well, I'm doing my part.
You're giving back to the community, and it's very nice.
It's the least I can do, and you know I always do the least I can do.
Well, that's the name of the foundation, actually. Least I Can Do Foundation. Barrios, rapid fire. That's 11 in a row to start the game.
Bob's Discount Furniture, dare to compare. And there you see what it was last time we were here, which was just fair to partly awful. Almost 16 inches of snow at the airport. The low temperature, 22 degrees. TC is having a whale of a time with all of that snow. All of us really hated it. But
he's having a really pleasant time.
3 consecutive games postponed. I thought I was under house arrest, which sadly I've experienced before, but it was horrible. We couldn't get out of the hotel. But this trip has been gorgeous weather. We're going to get in all 4 games. One's going to be made up on August 20th. Then we'll make up one, the last trip of the year, and we'll get all the requisite games in. So you can shop in store or online at mybobs.com as you dare to compare.
I didn't know that winter storm had a name until just then. Winter Storm Xanto.
Ron Xanto?
Yeah.
And there it is. That's what it looked like. Our view from the hotel.
Gordon's fisherman was here.
That was very difficult.
Ball and 2 strikes on Abreu. I walked outside very briefly during the storm. Have never been outside in anything worse. It was windy. It was freezing. I walked back in. There was a big snow cone of snow in my hair. And things are not very pleasant right now for the Sox either. 12 in a row set down by Barrios. Steve's got the weather after this. last night. 13 runs in the first 3 games. 39 is your answer today. Matinee Sox math. It's brought to you by Audi, and the Steve Stone hairstyling books are flying off the shelves.
That's a good look.
Are they twins?
Very patriotic.
Here's the strike to Mitch Garver. Albuquerque's own Mitch Garver. You been to Albuquerque?
I have, many times, passing through to and fro from Chicago to Phoenix, Arizona. Used to drive both ways. It was a delight.
Uphill both ways?
No, it was downhill one of the ways. I just never knew which way.
Oh, 2. Breaking ball swung through at 68, just over the speed limit on the highway. 4th strikeout for Shields.
James is starting to get his rhythm, but the way Barrios is throwing it might be a little too late.
Hey, take advantage of the Diamond Suite flash sale and lock in a summer outing today. Get significant savings on a 20-person suite, scoreboard message, hats for the whole group, and a complimentary dessert cart upgrade and more. For more information, visit whitesox.com/flash sale today. And sometimes we say visit today, and we don't say it with the urgency because this is a flash sale. You got to go today. Go now, right now. Go.
Wait for Lamar to hit and then go.
No, there's no time, and it's Hoyt, not hit.
Is that the flash sale? Is that the charm of the flash sale?
It is. It's like a pop-up store.
That keeps down the cost, I guess.
It does.
Pop up your store.
Very little overhead. Literally.
Omar wanted that slow curveball once again. Let's see if James goes with it. No, that's an inside cutter.
And Lamar slaps it off his foot.
That's what happens on inside cutters if your bat is quick. We'll watch it again, and this doesn't feel good, but he's got the shin guard, which probably saved him a massive hematoma. Or petoma. Either way, it saved him.
That's from the old bag of jokes, isn't it?
That's it. And Lamar is trying to walk that one off.
I think you took the wrong suitcase on this trip. Got the Pete Toma jokes. 4 strikeouts for Shields, 1 walk, 4 hits. They've all been extra base hits. And Ryan Lamar with the sting of the cutter.
And for those of you who don't know, Pete Toma now working with Pittsburgh Pirates after years with both ESPN and the Cubs.
Lamar is ready. 0-2 is downstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Any other production crew members you'd like to update us on here in the 4th?
I'm trying to think. Not yet. I'll get a little deeper in the game and get my list.
Okay. Somebody's hit pause on today's game.
Lamar thinking it went a little too quickly. That's a fake getting something out of my eye when your leg is singing to you.
One, 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Nothing quite as pleasant as day baseball. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew from Target Field in the Twin Cities, where Minnesota took a 2-0 lead in the first, and then A-Ray Adrianza added on with a solo shot in the second. So 3-0 here at game number 4. Sox trying to win this series with a victory in this finale.
Adrianza had a couple of doubles and a couple of non-events in the ball game yesterday. Had a double in the nightcap of the doubleheader and was held hitless in the first game of that Twinville. So he's had a nice extra base series.
Three and one. Most games he's ever played in his season, A-Ray Adrianza, is 70. A good gap filler, though, especially defensively.
Well, as soon as Mauer comes back, they're going to shift Escobar to shortstop. And if Sano gets his stroke back, he'll play third, and Adrianza will go back to being a swingman. But he's had his opportunity and making the most of it.
Ball faded on James. 2-out walk. Adrianza's on to bring up the 9-hitter Wilson. It's one of those small things. You have an opportunity to lead off the next inning with the 9 guy, and instead you flip it over.
Yeah, James is really unhappy with that particular sequence of pitches, because if you do get out Wilson, they get to lead off with Dozier, their normal leadoff hitter. You'd just as soon lead off with Wilson if you had your druthers.
Adrianza 2 for 2 in steals. This is not exactly a theft-driven ball club.
No, I would think that Paul Molitor would keep him anchored at first base. But he's getting a good lead.
Wilson shoots it down the right field line. Polka gets it in. Runners at first and third. Dozier comes up with 2 down.
Wilson, who came in hitting 159, has been on base twice. A walk in the second and his ringing single here in the fourth. Takes it the opposite way. And Daniel gets it back in quickly enough so Adrianza can't even think about scoring. And that signal from Gene Glynn made stay right here because the ball's back in the infield. So he wants to make sure that Adrianza did not stray off the bag.
Wonder what the numbers look like in games where your 8 and 9 hitters reach base, each of them the first 2 times. You got to win a lot of those games.
I was going to say the numbers usually don't favor the team that allows them to get on base 4 times. Dozier did go to right field last time, hit the ball very well, but hit it right at Daniel Polka.
We told you yesterday, 4 of every 5 balls Dozier hits and then some in his career go either up the middle or to the pull side. So you see the shift. It climbs in for a strike, 1-1. "31 years old, Brian Dozier. See what free agency nets him next year.
Depends on where he goes. I mean, you'd have to think that the Twins are in a dilemma because as long as they're in contention, they can't really move him. And you get the feeling just by looking at the standings right now that the wild card is not coming out of the Central. So if you don't win the division, you're not going to get there to postseason play.
Twins open today, 5 games back of first place Cleveland.
They still believe to a man that if they can get healthy, and that's a big if because they have a lot of injuries, they're not going to need a whole lot of trades because they're going to get starting pitching back, which everybody is looking for. So where teams are going to have to trade for starting pitching, all the Twins have to do is get their starters back and healthy. Santana comes back, and that is a big if also after surgery on the middle finger of his throwing hand. Get him coming back. You get Trevor May coming back. And Michael Pineda, if he comes back, and that again is a big if he comes back and he's healthy, this is going to be a very good starting rotation. Detroit sitting there 6 games back in the loss column, 4.5 back overall, and the Indians starting to play better baseball. If they put it together, they're not looking back. Nobody's going to catch them, but they haven't put it together yet because of that porous pen.
The other component is, look, it's going to be a pretty strong seller's market for starting pitching at the deadline. A lot of teams need it. So if you have some of it and you can offload it, you might be able to get yourself some prospects. If the Twins were to fall out of this race, they could think about making some deals with their starters too.
Well, there's one guy in Texas that's going to go, and a lot of teams are going to want Cole Hamels.
Every deadline, he seems to be one of those guys.
Of course, everybody holding their breath to see where Manny Machado is going to go and just how much of a haul of prospects the Orioles are going to get for him. Just a 4th inning, and James is about to deliver his 75th pitch. He's had 1-1-2-3 inning, that coming last inning.
Notably frustrated right now on the mound, trying to figure out what he wants to throw. He and Omar hook up, 3-2. Right side and through. Not exactly a vapor trail off that ball, which seemed like it was coming apart. And the Twins lead goes to 4-0.
Dozier reached out and took that pitch 6 inches off the outside corner. I don't think Shields can believe it. It's our IDOT safe play. This is just a good job of hitting as he strokes it through the right side, the vacated right side. And IDOT reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life and death. Visit lifeordeathillinois.com. 26 driven in for Dozier, who's gone to right field a couple of times. So at least today, for the first time in the series, he is taking what James is giving him. And James is terribly frustrated, more with the walk to Adrianza than the 2 hits.
Well, he looked at Dozier before that spin to first as if to say, well, come on. James is very fond of saying, ah, cool, when bad things happen. That was an ah, cool moment. I mean, what do you do?
There's nothing you can do because that was a really good pitch. You're getting ahead of a hitter and you're going to sweep that breaking ball that far outside. You don't anticipate a squib to the right side where nobody is home. That one barely made the outfield grass, and it was good for a run batted in. So now with a 4-run deficit and a guy that's thrown 4 perfect innings, who's 5-1 lifetime against your club, things do not look bright. However, a long way to go in this one, and maybe you can get into that pen.
Drilled. Right field. Polka has no play. Dozier continues the inning. Rosario bashes a 3-run homer, and the Twins broaden their lead. "14 home runs, 43 driven in." We told you about how hot Rosario was coming into this series, and the Sox have held him down until today. A double and a 3-run homer. That looked like a cutter that Rosario did not allow to get inside. And so when you look at this inning and you see the single, and a 3-run homer, you look back to that walk with 2 outs and nobody on to Adrianza, and that's the one that frustrated James the most. Suddenly you have a flicker of a flame becoming an at least 2-alarm fire here in the 4th. And it's 7-0 Minnesota.
Chris Beck starting to get ready. Rosining up his arms.
Left side base hit. Escobar 2 for 3.
Well, Escobar in a streak, and again, that one was 6 inches outside. He's in a streak where when he puts a bat on the ball, it's going to find some place to land safely. Either he crushes it or he dinks it over the head of Sanchez in this case. That pitch is way off the plate. And Eduardo, who's swinging the magic wand, turns it into a base hit, and the inning rolls along as Don Cooper trying to give some time to Chris Beck.
This is exceptional bad ball baseball the Twins are playing in the fourth.
They are that. Not a whole lot of strikes being hit. But the ones that are being hit and hit hard. 3 home runs in the early going for this Twin ball club that has erupted here on a day game on Thursday.
At 77, Shields gets strike 1 from Morrison. Again, last 7 starts for Shields coming into this one. He had a 3.45 ERA. Morrison absolutely massacres this baseball to right, but it's foul.
Last year he hit 38 home runs, and this year, because of that balky back, he's only hit 6. And they really need him to provide that left-handed presence in this lineup. There's a lot of right-handed thunder. You have Rosario, and of course Escobar is a switch hitter, so they will provide some left-handed power.
Oh, 2. Breaking ball, line to first. And that's all she wrote for the Twins, but a very lucrative inning. With 2 out, they score 4. Take on the A's, 7:10 p.m. Loyola Medicine presents a spectacular postgame fireworks show. Loyola Medicine. We also treat the human spirit. For tickets, visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Bunch of home games coming up. Sox will take on, among other teams, the Oakland Athletics during the later homestand. Kansas City will be in, Minnesota as well. There's a broad breaking ball. Jose Barrios has yet to have a base runner against him today.
Been pretty good with all of his pitches, including the straight change, which he doesn't throw a whole lot of, but he's breaking out here this afternoon.
High with a fastball. He tried to go there in the second inning at bat with Palka as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if he goes up one more time, as James shell shocked here in the early going.
Well, Daniel Palka right now entering play today had 5 of the 52 hardest hit balls in Major League Baseball this season.
He's awfully strong. Whether it's on the ground or in the air, he can crush the ball. But not up there.
93 to the edge for strikeout number 6 from Jose Barrios.
There's all kinds of ways to get 93, and normally it's not overpowering, but when it's this lively and that ball just quickly darts up and away from Daniel. 93 normally is pretty good hitting speed, but not in the case of Barrios because of that hard breaking slider and a newly found straight change.
And oh, by the way, the fastball moves too.
It does that.
1 out, Davidson. So Barrios in 2 starts against the Sox in this building this year has struck out 17.
Yeah, but that's deceptive because he's been better than that.
You can actually make an argument. Matt pumps it into right field, and Robbie Grossman. All right, so here's Omar. This is 14 in a row to start the game.
That's pretty good.
When do you start calling it a possible perfect game?
Right about now.
Yeah, nowish.
Yeah. I would think if Omar is going to look away, he might be able to end this with a little looper to left field.
Setup is out there. And off speed away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rios works quickly. He's got his rhythm. Wilson is keeping him in rhythm, and there's a fastball away.
2-1.
He appears to have both a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball. The 2-seamer runs away from the left-handers pretty well. The 4-seamer uses to get inside.
When he was younger, coming out of Puerto Rico, he was a very highly thought of teenage player, and he had said that one of his goals was to make the Twins before he was 21 years old. Talk about aiming high.
Now his goal is to be the best pitcher in baseball. He got a ways to go on that, but he is a good one.
Inside, 3-2. Barrios with his second 3-2 count today.
And here's where you look fastball away and hope you get it there.
He comes in, and Omar hits it well right center field. This is down. So much for the perfect game. Narvaez, as the ball clears the wall on a bounce, has himself a 2-out double.
So the no-hitter, the perfect game, goes by the boards. Omar does indeed break it up. And he had to come at him with a 3-2 count. And that fastball over the inner portion. Omar unloads. It's 1 hop out of the ballpark. As the Sox looking for their first run of the game.
How did that bounce there?
It's a trampoline effect.
This one line to left. Rosario up with it. Here comes Omar. He's got a good arm, and Omar wears it. Very strong arm in left. Eddie Rosario. And the Sox lose 1 at the dish.
Danley's defensive play, and Omar Narvaez hesitated at third base. That didn't help many. Neither did this throw. He's out from here to Gary, Indiana. And the prospective first run is cut down. Great throw by Rosario. He's had a good series doing just that.
Well, he had the play yesterday where Tim didn't have an eye to the ball and gunned it for second. Rosario basically just looped it in and still got it there well in time.
And by the way, my motto.
Yeah, I gave you a chance and you didn't do it.
Well, I was just coasting.
I paused for you to do your tag and you still didn't do it. Tilson and left, one down for Grossman.
There's the tag. You're it.
Garver and Lamar to follow. Thanks for joining our happy family this afternoon. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. And our entire wonderful crew here in Minneapolis. A 4-run fourth inning, all with 2 out for Minnesota, has expanded the Twins' lead from 3-0 to 7-0. Mitch Garver, who struck out twice, takes strike 1. High pop up. Abreu. Moncada puts his hands behind his back and says it's yours. 2 down. Sox fans join us as the White Sox take on the Oakland Athletics. Saturday, June 23rd, 1:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get that hat. It's a White Sox hat presented by CIBC, banking that fits your life. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Two down, Ryan Lamar. Fly ball center field. Trace Thompson at the warning track. For out number 3. Lickety split in the 5th for James Shields.
Sixth inning is brought to you by Meyer, true Chicago fans.
It's also brought to you by oversized helmets, furnished for that young man or woman.
Well, you're not going to get hit in the head wearing that.
And if you do, you'll never know. Looked like Kevin Mench's hat.
It's a good look, though.
In the air, left center field, and Lamar. Looked like he was going to make the play in center field, but Charlie Tilson ends up with a base hit.
That's 3 hits in a row as Charlie slices this one into left center field, and Lamar with a good effort. But in this game, the ground can cause a fumble. And he had it in the glove, and then it comes rolling out.
One on, nobody out. Trace Thompson. So now Berríos has given up 3 straight hits after retiring the first 14. I'm told by the fine folks on Twitter that that was a Halo mask from the video game Halo.
Really?
Yeah, that the kid was wearing. I played GoldenEye 007. I wasn't a Halo guy, so sorry.
I played Pong.
You did?
Yeah.
A lot of strategy in Pong.
What's that?
A lot of strategy.
And Paul Molitor wanting to take a look at that.
It's a close play at first.
Yeah, it's not exactly a critical play at this point, but it is the 6th inning. You got really nothing to lose, and they're going to take a look at it thinking they got Charlie.
Well, in the 6th inning, with the crew chief review being a possibility in the final couple of innings, there really is nothing to lose unless this becomes a big 6th.
We'll take another look at it. Now Morrison thinks he got the hand before he got the bag. That's actually a good tag. But Brian O'Nora says he's in. And it is really close. To me, it looked like he probably had him. But clear and convincing, insurmountable, definitive, and all kinds of other proofs are necessary to overturn the call.
Side angle side, among others. Remember, New York does have angles that we don't see. So there are extra views of each stadium that the replay umpires are looking at in New York in their replay booth.
There are that. At least a couple of cameras.
Let's see. Safe. So 1-0 for Trace. He goes after the first pitch and lobs it into right. Grossman's underneath, one gone. Well, if there was a time that you're going to get to Berríos, you would imagine it would have been right after the perfect game got broken up. Usually there's an adrenaline rush there and a loss of focus, right?
Well, especially when you take it into the 5th inning in this case. Yeah, the air goes out of the balloon somewhat, but he does have a huge lead at 7-0.
0-1 on Moncada.
Duanas hit the ball straight up in the air twice.
Foul pop to third and a pop out in fair territory to second base in the 4th.
Pitch number 71 on the way as Berríos has kept it to a minimum.
He's an artful young pitcher.
He appears to have great stuff. His presence on the mound is outstanding. He comes right at you, convinced that his stuff is better than you today. And that is the posture that you have to have. And so Paul Molitor waits for 2 strikes to then move Escobar into a spot to the right of Dozier.
Ball's hit well to right field by Moncada and toward the alleyway off the wall. Charlie Tilson in a hurry around third, and the Sox do break the shutout on the RBI double from Yoan Moncada.
Rios has seemed like a mere mortal here the last 5 hitters. 4 of them has reached base safely as Charlie Tilson scores all the way from first. And Yoan crushes the ball, driving in his 22nd of the year. If Lamar doesn't stumble, it's going to be very tough to score Tilson. He does. And from down on the turf, he can't get a good throw in.
One in, one on, one out. Charlie Tilson scores his 3rd run. It's coming up from AAA. Yolmer Sanchez on a 10-game hit streak. Breaking ball, strike 1.
He's played pepper with Dozier a couple of times. Outfield playing him straight away.
That's a filthy pitch right there.
Right on the inside corner and up on the slow breaking ball. Well, slow relatively because it's 82.
Oh, 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 3 looks at it. 2 down. Hey, it's a whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 available now, and you can learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. Two down. Moncada at second. Abreu at the plate. Breaking ballville.
Another good slider. And Jose that time tried to pull it. Nothing doing.
This one hit down the left field side and fair. Abreu drives in Moncada. Jose on his way to second. He is safe. It's an RBI double. Abreu with double number 23, and it's 7-2.
RBI number 36, and this is back-to-back breaking balls, and that time Jose did not pull off. That time he drove it into left field. No chance at all for Rosario. No chance at the plate, but a good throw to second base makes it a whole lot closer than it appeared. Jose gonna walk off that slide. I'm sure he's feeling the effects of that. Probably wind up with a strawberry as Garvin Alston comes out.
Wow, Moncada.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do is break it down quite that radically. You want to score as quickly as you can because you never know what's going to happen on the play at second, and that's something that a young player is going to have to learn.
By rule, if you end up with that third out before the run comes home, he doesn't count.
No, he does not.
The old timing play. One strike on Polka. 0-2.
He got a good pitch to hit on that second pitch of the sequence, right down the middle, but fouled it straight back.
Two strikes. Check swing. He didn't go. 1-2.
CB Buckner on the call. Good call. Watch it again as he does not go around. He's able to check it up, and it takes very strong hands and wrists to be able to do that consistently, especially with the velocity that Daniel can bring through the strike zone.
A hook for strike 3. Barrios relied heavily on the curveball. His 8th strikeout. Sox get on the board though with 2. Still 7 over 500. Blake Rutherford 3 for 4 last night, a double, 2 singles against the A-ball Red Sox in a 9-4 loss. Blake now hitting .291, 335 on base, 434 slugging. He's also stolen 7 bases. Luis Alexander Basabe having a very nice season as well. We've heard a lot about his bat, but he also leads that Winston-Salem team in walks with 28 of them.
He's also a terrific defender. That's one of the things that he brought to the table before the bat got there. The bat is getting better, and for Rutherford, the bat is getting very good.
Pass Shields, Tim Anderson behind it for out number 1.
Sox fans, show your team pride with the White Sox checking an official White Sox debit card only available through local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
One down for Bobby Wilson, who made his major league debut back in 2008. His battery mate the day of his major league debut was none other than John Garland.
That's a good battery mate. John was a good pitcher.
Coming up next month, we'll be visiting the home of John Garland's famous interleague home run in Cincinnati.
John was a former #1 of the Chicago Cubs. Couldn't live without Matt Karshner, and traded him to the Sox in one of the better deals, as John was a very good pitcher for the White Sox.
Still around every once and again. Stopped by the clubhouse last year. Two one. Grounded foul, third base side, 2-2.
With the weekend series against the Red Sox, every inning, every out that James gets in this performance is one less the bullpen has to pick up. Because with the offense of the Red Sox, and as good as their pitching has been, you figure that you might have to go to that pen a little more liberally in Boston. So these are important outs with the Sox on a streak of 22 games in 21 days without an off day.
Swing and a miss. He couldn't wait for the breaking ball to get there, and a strikeout for Shields is number 6.
James does a good job with that slow breaking ball, throwing his body to the left side. Hitters usually swing at the motion. The ball doesn't get there. That time he mystified Wilson, who had a key base hit in the 4th inning that kept it going for the big boys coming up next.
That curveball at 76 is rather confusing.
That's his hard curveball. The other one's 67. Once it buckles the knees, you got no chance on this swing.
On the ground, third base side, Sanchez. 4 out, number 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Shields. 7 in a row retired by him. To the 7th we go. It's over 4 against you. Who did Killebrew hit his 500th home run off of?
So now you're quizzing me on Harmon Killebrew's career.
Well, no, sort of.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, one of those 3 guys, I'm guessing.
You think?
Yeah. I'll say Louis Tiant as the only right-hander in the bunch, although Louis had great stuff.
Sox fans looking for some more runs here in the 7th. You think Louis Tiant, huh?
Well, 33% chance. I threw my hat in the ring.
You know, interestingly enough about Killebrew, he hit 573 home runs in his career. And his last one he hit on the road at Minnesota. He joined the Royals very late in his career in 1975 and hit his last homer in Minneapolis. And Rod Carew as well, who was one of the all-time greats for the Twins, had his 3,000th hit against the Twins.
It was probably as a member of the Angels.
It was indeed.
And Harmon was a wonderful man. I used to play in his golf tournament a lot.
Really?
Yes, just a good man, beloved not only here but just everywhere. He was a kind guy, very philanthropic.
How'd you get him out 4 times?
Oh, I don't know. Like I got every right-hander out, I guess. Inside fastballs and lots of hooks.
Lots of hooks.
Yeah, just when they were looking for the inside fastball, I threw him a hook.
Called strike 3 at 95, 1 down. Let's see if you got it right as we quiz Steve on Harmon Killebrew's career. The answer was Mike Cuellar.
Nice slow breaking ball. Mike Cuellar, member of a wonderful pitching staff, 1971 for the Orioles, 4 20-game winners. You're not going to see that anytime soon.
Ever again,
Probably
maybe.
never again. No. That was Palmer, Cuellar, McNally, and the one everybody forgets is Pat Dobson. 4 20-game winners in the same staff.
And that was when pitchers were going long, when it was starting pitcher versus starting pitcher, and in order to get a win, you really had to beat the other guy.
Yeah, and it was a 4-man rotation, so you got a number of different starts.
Omar rips this ball to right, and a great offensive day for Omar Narvaez. Grossman, the throw to second, and he's out. Second time Omar has been lost on the bases for the Sox.
Some real bad base running. You're down 5 runs, and the catcher is trying to run it into a 2-base hit. So that is 2 outs and nobody on. The carom is right back to Grossman, who doesn't have a great arm, but it's good enough. He comes off the bag, and then Adrianza wisely keeps the glove on him. A late slide takes him off the bag, and then the tag, and that's it.
Well, the upside is Omar has his first multi-hit game since April 28th.
You're kind of a glass half full kind of guy, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
At this point.
Yep.
Rondon in the air, right-hand side. Grossman for out number 3. His team's glass is 1/8 full. Just trying to bring up the average.
Here's a great package that you're going to love. How would you like to spend an afternoon golfing with a couple of White Sox legends, Harold Baines and Carlton Fisk? That's all. Here's what you get with that package. Not only spending the afternoon and hanging out with these guys, also get to have lunch with them. You get an autographed ball from both of them, then you get to enjoy the White Sox game later that night. To find out more about this one, go to whitesox.com/ultimate auction.
Mike Toomey, ladies and gentlemen. 7-2. The Twins with the lead over the Sox, who dip into the bullpen for the newest guy out there. Up for Aaron Bummer, Xavier Cedeno.
Might as well run him out there. And there are the numbers at Charlotte. He had a good run at it. That's why he's here. 20 games, a 1.25 ERA with opponent's batting average of 162. A whip of .74. So all those are great numbers. Let's see if it translates into a good performance today as Ricky Renteria wastes no time to get him in.
Aaron Bummer is sent down to AAA, option down, and Cedeno has his contract purchase placed on the 40-man roster with Alfredo Gonzalez designated for assignment. So there was a roster spot for Cedeno, who has been a major part of big league bullpens in his career. In 2015, he threw 66 times in the big leagues. That was in 15. Then 2016, 54 times.
I think it was great, and it didn't work out for Alfredo here, but it was great he was able to get his first major league hit and run driven in before he departed. That's something he'll never forget, and we interviewed him after the game. He was wonderfully happy, as you would expect, and then again it didn't work out, so we wish him well.
This is one of those seasons where there's going to be opportunity for guys to show that they belong in the majors, whether or not it's with the Sox or with some other big league club.
And that's what you can't lose sight of, because if it doesn't work out with the team you're with, you come in the ball game, you're auditioning for 29 other teams. If the team you're currently pitching for is not going to use you. So the first batter, Xavier Faces, draws the walk.
Eduardo Escobar 2 for 3, a 2-run homer and a single. That one's on the corner for a strike. Sox will be in Boston coming up tomorrow. It's a night game, then a mid-afternoon game, and then a day game at Fenway Park. And Chris Sale is the opponent tomorrow to face Dylan Covey.
Dylan's thrown it very well, and Chris Sale has thrown it very well against everybody but the Twins. The Twins have really hurt Sale.
One ball, one strike. On the ground, could be two. Moncada all by his lonesome for the double play.
Very easy 4-3 as Cedeno induces Escobar to ground into a double play, and getting that guy out is a good thing. If you don't have to throw it, don't. He didn't have to, so he didn't.
Not great advice for a pitcher, but tremendous advice for a second baseman.
But if you don't throw it, nothing bad can happen.
Also true. 2 down. Breaking ball to Morrison. By the way, in the minors, we told you about Blake Rutherford and his day yesterday. In the Southern League in Double-A, the Sox have a grand total of 5 All-Stars, including Zach Collins, Sebi Zavala, both catchers, and Eloy Jimenez for the Birmingham Barons. As Moncada handles it all, Cedeno walks the first one and triggers a couple ground balls. To the 8th we go.
And you can see the Red Sox over the last 17, 13-4, batting average 265. That's robust, as is 5.4 runs per game on 30 homers, an ERA just over 3. And everything is going awfully well for the team that has a 1-game lead in the American League East. Did I mention Toyota going places?
Yeah, let's go places.
That's it.
Red Sox do play tonight. They're at home. That's a 7:10 Eastern time start. So
yes, I want to go to that game. I want to get up Fenway Frank.
You've got your credential, and Mark Brady's got his credential, and Benji's got his. We're all going.
Exactly right.
We're getting the group together.
Terrific.
It's a team building experience.
Reassemble the band.
Brady doesn't sound keen on it in the truck. Ground ball from Tilson, one away. Who's Fenway Frank? One of your old buddies?
Frank Malzone. You remember him? He used to play third base for them. They called him Fenway Frank and then named a hot dog after him.
Your guy. One down for Trace Thompson. I'm excited to see Boston. That team has been so good to start the year, and you see them on video, but then watching them up close will be interesting.
Well, they're an awfully good team, and whether Mookie Betts is healthy or not, they're a formidable group. I want to take you to one of my favorite restaurants there, the Atlantic Seafood Company. Want to get some shellfish for you, as much as you can eat, so you swell up like a blowfish.
This is what I put up with, folks.
I have the EpiPen with me. Don't worry.
Yeah, what you fail to realize when you bring that up is it's not fun to be hit with the EpiPen.
No, but it saves you some damage, certainly.
Yeah, I've got other plans. 2-1 to Trace. Barrios on the ground. We're out number 2. Top of the order coming up, and Yohan Moncada.
Barrios has been in command. He had a little rocky start through 5 hitters to end the 5th inning and to start the 6th. Other than that, he's been pretty much untouchable in this one. He works quickly, he throws strikes, and he hasn't walked anybody today. That's usually the best part of his arsenal. When you look at strikeouts to walks and realize that he's got many of one and very few of the other. He came in walking just 14 all year, and that is not going to rise at all.
That was tied for 4th in the American League when the day started.
Now he's got over 80 strikeouts with those 14 walks, and that's in 13 starts. That's very impressive. .100 pitches, 70% strikes.
In the ears, center field. Lamar is underneath it for out number 3. Bottom 8 coming up. Chris Beck may be where it's at when we come back. 7-2.
To hold him right there on for the 14th time. His ERA a touch over 4. There you look at the rest of the numbers.
Grossman, Garver, and Lamar his opponents. That is a good look. Napkin hat. Steve, your thoughts on the fashion statement?
It's making do with what you have on a given day.
Yeah, but the other thing is, it's not as though the game surprised you, right? That you could have just brought a hat.
However, the sun might have surprised him.
Interesting theory.
What with all of the inclement weather last time we were in.
It is difficult nowadays to get a weather forecast.
True.
Hit a bunch of buttons and all. 2-0 on Grossman.
There's some caps. Floppy hat day.
Every day is floppy hat day for them. And them too. In left, Tilson makes the catch. 1 down. Garver coming up. Beck gets the first out in the home 8th. You know, in fact, they look like they're actually ready to garden the flowers in front of them in the flower box.
Well, the lady is ready to dance. She's a dancing fanatic.
She has a watering can underneath the seat. Can't see it there, but it's there. Ball to Garver. So James Shields gets the Sox through 6, even with something of a rocky start and a tough 4th inning. Basically 3 weeks straight worth of games without an off day, and it's up to the starting pitching, which had a very nice ERA the past week or so coming in, to make sure to soak up some of those innings. Was confounding 1 and 2.
That was a good hard slider, and he kept it out of the zone, and Garver had committed. Take another look. Hurt his left hand trying to check it up, but figured he had to go around. He could not check it up.
To third, Yolmer Sanchez. As we step aside to tell you about what's coming up on WGN. Eighth inning, 2 down, nobody on. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, and our entire brilliant crew here in Minneapolis on a sunny day that has not gone as well as planned for the Sox. 7-2 Minnesota, with Ryan Lamar at the plate, and he takes strike number 1. Xavier Cedeno made his White Sox debut in the 7th. He walked a batter, then got 2 ground balls and 1 inning, 1 walk, his final line.
Paul Molitor between innings had a talk with his young right-hander Jose Barrios, and he seemed to tell him that he was feeling good and wanted to try to close it out.
Well, Barrios began the year, his first start was a shutout. 9 innings, 3 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts against the Orioles. Ball's rocketed to left center field. Ryan Lamar sends it all the way to the dirt, and he's on second with 2 out.
Twins only have that 1 complete game, so they're bidding for 2, as is Barrios. Is that one hit hard? And Lamar keeps the inning alive with a 2-out double.
Twins will stay home. Sox will go to Boston. Minnesota plays the Angels for 3 in a weekend series. Shohei Ohtani came out of his last start with a blister, so we'll see where that goes.
Well, unlike most pitchers, he can still swing the bat so well that he's going to get some playing time.
On the ground, Abreu plucks it. And that is it for the Twins in the 8th. 9th inning after this. Game. He is through 8. The Sox have touched him up for just 2 runs after he retired the first 14 batters he saw. And it's Yolmer Sanchez who has seen a steady diet of breaking balls. Down a strike.
That slider inside to Yolmer has been mystifying today. A couple of ground balls and a strikeout for his efforts.
Tapper foul, 0-2. Yolmer's 10-game hit streak dangling in the balance here in the 9th. He's 0 for 3. On the ground, second base, Dozier.
Good play by Brian Dozier to his right, and from one knee he throws out Yolmer for the 3rd time today. It's a nice effort.
Well, they call Jose Barrios La Máquina, meaning the machine in Spanish, and he has been very machine-like this afternoon.
He got it going early today, and just for a brief bobble of 5 hitters, he's been awfully tough, as he usually is, bidding to go 6-1 against our boys early in his career.
Swing and a miss.
That's looking for a slider and getting a fastball, and hand came off the bat. An awkward swing by Jose, who doesn't have many awkward swings.
That's swinging strike number 14 of the afternoon for Jose Barrios. 0-2. Here's number 15.
Well, that's as hard a fastball as he's thrown today, so he sees the home stretch. It's starting like a thoroughbred. Reference to the Belmont coming up. He leans back and gets his best fastball, 95 upstairs, and throws it right by Jose.
Two down, Daniel Palka. So 108 pitches for Berrios, 15 swinging strikes, 26 called strikes. Palka hits it well right field. Grossman is there though, and that'll do it. A complete game for Jose Berrios, his second of the season and his career, and 7-2 the final as the Sox go Splitsville and Minneapolis. We'll wrap it up for you when we come back.